You know what? Something really weird is happening on the internet right now. Some of the most provocative, controversial figures out there are suddenly, and I mean very publicly, turning to faith. So, what's going on? Is it just a coincidence, or is it something more? In this explainer, we're going to dig into this trend and look at one really fascinating theory about what might be happening behind the scenes. And it feels like this was the moment that really kicked things off. That's Jeffree Star. Yup, the makeup mogul, massive internet personality, and a huge figure in the LGBTQ+ community, getting emotional after reading a Bible verse on a TikTok live. Now, if you followed his career at all, you know this was a total jaw-dropper, and it immediately made everyone ask one question. So what is happening here? Is this just a fluke, or is there some kind of pattern emerging? Well, the source material for this whole thing presents a very specific and pretty compelling theory that actually connects all of these seemingly random events. Okay, so to really get this theory, you have to realize that the Jeffree Star moment, that wasn't just a one-off. It was more like the first domino to fall in a whole series of very public spiritual journeys by some very, very unexpected people. I mean, the contrast is just, wow, it's night and day, right? On one hand, you have the Jeffree Star persona that he's built for years, all about controversy, a certain kind of glamour. And on the other, you have him connecting with scripture in a way that literally no one saw coming. The source creator argues this isn't random at all. It's a signal. And hey, this isn't just a Jeffree Star thing, not by a long shot. This pattern keeps popping up in completely different corners of the internet and pop culture, which makes it pretty hard to just write off. So let's look at Skepi, another huge influencer. He's been posting about being called to read the Bible, and he describes it as this really intense internal struggle. He actually calls it a spiritual fight for his own soul. For a creator whose job is basically to project a certain image, this kind of raw honesty is, well, it's pretty unusual. And listen to this quote because it really gets to the heart of what he's talking about. Skepi's describing this deep, disorienting feeling, saying his attractions are literally changing and that even just saying the name Jesus has this powerful, almost overwhelming effect on him. And he's taking his nearly 11 million followers on this journey with him, in real time. Then, bam. This whole thing goes from internet famous to globally famous, with a name everyone knows, Khloe Kardashian. We're talking about a member of one of the most influential families in pop culture, right? And she recently shared on her podcast that faith is a huge part of her daily life, from Bible apps in the morning to praying with her kids every single night. This just takes the whole trend to a completely different level. You'd think, okay, maybe that's it. But no, the pattern even shows up in the world of rap with one of its most controversial artists, 6ix9ine. Despite his seriously troubled past, he put it very plainly in an interview. He said he feels a direct call, saying, "Jesus been calling my name. It's time to come home." He even says he thinks he'll be used to bring other people to faith. And maybe the most symbolic transformation of all is Mike Posner. You know, the guy who sang "I Took a Pill in Ibiza," a song that was basically the anthem for a life of excess. Well, now he's actually rewritten that very song. He changed the message from partying to devotion, with the new line being, "I think I'm going to give my life to God." That is a powerful, direct reframing of his own legacy. Okay, so we've seen the what. A whole bunch of really unlikely celebrities are all publicly exploring Christianity all around the same time. But now let's get to the why. According to the source creator, this whole phenomenon is being viewed through a very specific theological lens.
So the interpretation is based on this Christian concept of the last days. The idea, essentially, is that we're in a spiritually important time, and as this era comes to a close, there's a divine push to reach as many people as possible. And what's the most effective way to do that in 2024? You go through people who already have the attention of millions.
So let's break down the main argument here. The big takeaway is that this is not a coincidence. The source suggests God is intentionally using broken and unexpected people as instruments because their transformations will have a bigger impact. The goal here is mass outreach, like a spiritual broadcast to millions of followers, and it's happening right now for a very specific reason. And here's where this theory gets really interesting. It's not just about reaching a lot of people, it's about reaching the right people. We're talking about audiences that might be completely closed off to a traditional religious message. Think about it like this. Each of these celebrities is like a key that unlocks a different community. Jeffree Star is a bridge to the beauty world and the LGBTQ+ community.
Khloe Kardashian has the undivided attention of her family's gigantic fan base. 6ix9ine and Mike Posner tap into rap and mainstream pop. According to this theory, each one is opening a door to a unique cultural group.
And the source creator, Taylor Alasia, she puts it perfectly herself. She basically says, look, my followers might listen to me, but Jeffree Star's followers, they'd probably just scroll right past my video. But when that message comes from him, someone they already know, follow, and trust, they're way more likely to stop and listen. And this story about 6ix9ine and Diddy, it's like the perfect little case study of how this ripple effect is supposed to work. The story goes that when they were cellmates, Diddy saw 6ix9ine praying constantly. It made such an impression that Diddy actually asked him, "Can I pray with you?" One person's actions directly sparked something in another. It's a chain reaction. But, and this is a big but, anytime you have celebrities and public displays of faith, you gotta ask, is it real? Is it authentic? And to its credit, the source material does not shy away from this very cynical, very modern question. You know, the creator of this theory even admits that her own mom's first reaction to the Khloe Kardashian story was pure skepticism. She wondered if this was all just grifting. Was it a real spiritual awakening or just a smart business move to appeal to a whole new audience? And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Are we watching a bunch of genuine personal awakenings unfold in public, or could it be something else? Maybe it's a search for meaning, which a lot of people are feeling right now. Or, on the cynical side, are these savvy celebrities seeing faith as a sort of untapped market for a new personal brand? The source definitely leaves that question open. Ultimately, this whole trend leaves us with a really tricky question for the world we live in now. When a person's life, their identity, and their beliefs all become part of their public brand, is it even possible to tell where a sincere personal journey ends and a calculated performance begins? And you have to wonder, for the millions of people watching this all unfold, does that difference even matter?